Hi, welcome to this video. I think it's about time I made a record of how I changed my ileostomy. I think the record I would say is this is probably a more active ileostomy than many, and my arrangement for changing my bag is probably slightly more complicated than your average, I understand. The video is obviously it's not graphic, but it does show parts of the body that you might not be prepared to see. So if you haven't actually seen a stoma before, just put more narrative. I'm not holding back as to what you're going to see, and obviously there is output, messy output. As you can already see in the bottom of the bag here. But I just thought I'd talk you through what I go through in changing my bag and what I do on a daily basis to manage the output. I'll mention the tablets as well. So yeah, this is my ileostomy. Some give them names. I haven't given mine a name. I tend to refer it as a out-of-control teenager, and that's about as best as it's going to get. So this is my ileostomy. You can see my stoma here, which is the lower part of my small intestine. I had this fitted in October 2018 because I've got a perforated bowel. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about why I've got it. I'm hoping for a reversal one day, and this is quite a lot to live with. On a daily basis, I actually have 8 pyramides, which is a drug that helps slow down the movement of the gut, so everything doesn't go through too quick. I use these Imodium gauntlets. I have 8 of these 4 times a day, so 32 Imodiums, as well as codeine. I have 2 of these 4 times a day, so I think that's 240 milligrams, I think, yeah. So I'm on pretty reasonable quantity of tablets per day amongst some others, but these are the 2 that I use for controlling my stoma, to slow it down, or my ileostomy, should I say. This is a large output bag. This is what size bag is this one? If I can get my so that's the. So I use the Dansac Nova 2 high output. I think it allows for up to about half a litre of fluid, which my output is very fluid. It's very, very rare is it thick at all. So I on average use about between 15 and 20 of these a month. It's a 2-part system. So the flange that is or the wafer that sticks to my skin is the Dansac NovaLife 2 Convex wafer with a 70mm cutout, or up to 70mm cutout. It's a 2-part system. I don't have pre-cut templates. I have the journey to this point has been a bit of a handful. I have probably gone through a huge set of templates going back a year and a half. I modify, well, my stoma nurse, who's been absolutely brilliant, she helps me modify my templates here at home rather than having them cut at source. I use Charter in the United Kingdom. Again, they've looked after me ever so well. But I've started modifying the template a little bit myself because I'm just getting a little bit more experienced at it, but I'm still not great at it. I think I'm due for possibly a review from my stoma nurse, which would be useful at some point. So yeah, I'm due a change, and that's why I've prompted myself to put this on video today. It's just to show you the rest of the bag. I've actually, rather than what's quite often is just a seam that you unfold the seam and open up the seam. This is a rubber bone. This just demonstrates that mine is just literally all liquid. Everything comes out through there. So pretty much, yeah, it's a busy ileostomy, and as I say, when it's under a full head of steam, it's a bit like an out of control teenager. It's probably my best description. So I normally prepare, the first thing I do prepare is the base plate to get the that cut. So the aim of this video, it might make for quite a long video, I don't know, but I'm going to step through the whole thing from scratch. So pretty much you get to see as much as I would normally do in normal circumstances. Should also say that what you're actually seeing here, I do actually have quite a bad hernia behind this. This swelling here is actually a very large part of my hernia, where the intestine, a considerable part of my intestines has come through my stomach wall and the muscle wall. So I have quite a pronounced, I mean, that is all just literally about a great big bubble there. And I think that's why my template changes so often, is depending on what's happening with my intestines, whether a bit's coming in and out. It gets a little bit uncomfortable every now and again, but it's manageable. So when cutting my own templates, I've currently got my current template here. I tend to line it up on the circles and on the little orange tab I use on the corner there. I haven't played with many different other templates. This one kind of worked for me from day one, but I do understand that people have the option to try different templates. I don't specifically always use a pen like that, but it serves the purpose. What's quite useful is, if you are cutting your own templates, make sure you have these scissors that are actually designed for cutting these wafers. They've got a kind of a strange curvature to them, and one of the tips has actually been taken off, and it does allow for the cutting. I'll try and get this on camera if I can. Yeah. It looks worse, it looks harder than it really is. You do get used to doing this. As I say, it's something you just, I think the first days of having one of these, it's actually quite daunting. I remember seeing this because my surgery was emergency, so I had no preparation time prior to surgery. It was rather overwhelming, but as with all things in life, you get used to it. It's amazing what you can get used to. So I'm now just going to, I immediately attach it to the bag. I actually connect the two together so that I don't clip it on whilst it's actually, once the flange is in place. It works better for me by actually attaching this, and I actually prepare the whole package before it actually goes onto the skin. And all you have to do is, you can see there's a kind of a, you try and get this in camera for you. You can see there's just a rim there, and you just have to push fit. It's a really good joint. Certainly this make, this Dansac, I have found very secure. I've never had a problem. I think I was a little bit dubious one day when I did actually pull the front a little bit, and it did come away from the flange, but I think that was more because I was not concentrating and I did just pull too much. So now that flange is completely on, you can see all the way around. Okay, one thing I do, I have made the mistake of forgetting to put the rubber bung in. You do it once, you learn quite quick. So put that in. So that is the bag and the flange now ready. The products, I'm going to step through the products I use. So I mentioned the bags that I use. One of the products I go through quite heavily is Charter supply these hygienic dry wipes. These are almost my best friend when it comes to doing these because I think at the moment my stoma is very quiet. My ileostomy, sorry, I keep saying stoma, it's an ileostomy. It is quiet at the moment. When this is pumping, or if it's, say for example, I start a change, I can have over half a litre come out in 20 minutes. So this becomes a little bit of a nightmare. So what I do is I prepare absolutely everything in advance. So I separate a good quantity of these prior to the change so that I don't have to worry about separating them whilst this thing may go active. I'm not expecting it to go active this afternoon. I've kind of kept an eye on what I've drank. I haven't had anything to eat for the past couple of hours. I think most of it's flushed through me already. I know people say that these take 5 to 6 hours to go through your small intestine. No, not for me. I've seen, as much as I know sweet corn is not meant to be on your radar for these sorts of things. I have had them, I chew them well. I've seen sweet corn arrive in 45 minutes to an hour in my bag. So I've got a good quantity of these. That's really helpful is that kind of these now. I just put these to my side, ready for when I start the change. And if I need to do any mopping or kind of damming up if this goes active, which I'm not expecting it to do. The next thing I start with, I use what's called something called a wrap. So I use these Eakin, I don't know how that's StomaWrap. These are allow you to build another layer as part of what you adhere to your skin. It's very similar material. It's basically the same material that's in the stoma paste, but it's formed into a specific shape. And while I'm opening that up, actually, we'll get my little rubbish bag. As many of you will have already, when you take this all off, it has to go somewhere. So I tend to put the bottom of the bag, or put the bottom of the ileostomy bag into the bag, ready for when it just gets peeled off and puts it in. That way, also any rubbish I can start with dropping it straight in. For me, the wrap, I have to prepare the wrap first. Quick tip: there's two different edges. You can see there's a rounded edge here, and there's a sharper edge there. What I've found in the past, if you peel the first from the sharp edge, it's easier to handle and have it sitting to one side when you're preparing the rest of it. If you take the top off with the rounded edge, it's harder to get it off the plate once you've mounted it somewhere. So I always start with the sharp edged side, little pull, comes off. I will then pull the wrap off. I will store this, I'll hold on to this part of the sheet, place it up on top of me there. I'll join the two ends together. And now what I'm going to do is stretch this out to the size of my ileostomy. Again, this is one of those frustrating things that just takes time to get the hang of. Once you've got the hang of it, it actually becomes a little bit second nature and it's not too bad. You can get quite practiced at doing this. It's probably going to be close. So this is what I was saying about putting it back on the plastic plate. Size it. Right. What you can do now is, what I tend to do is just marry it up and see how well it sits. Yeah, pretty good hit. I can show you. It's not all. I don't always get it first time, but again, it does. It comes with practice. It really does. And I would say 3 and 5 times I probably have to reseat it or just adjust it a little bit. So I'm not always that perfect bang on first time. So a little bit sticky. So I'm just going to put that to one side. So you can move that up so you can see it a little bit up there. So now I've got 2 choices. If this was if it was pumping at this time, I would first of all I would actually prepare the plate with the paste and the StomaWrap. But as it's quiet at the moment, I'm going to actually take the current plate off, tidy up, clean it up, and then I'll prepare the plate. The reason I do this is it's quite warm outside, so if you prepare it too early, the paste and the plate or the wrap can start drying out or hardening, and then it possibly can compromise your adhesion. So I'm going to prepare it at the last minute. So now basically I'm going to take the plate off. Now some people do use the grab some the adhesive spray. I've actually got used to not having to need this. The only time I do use it is to get off where you see where there's kind of some of the adhesive there has caught your clothes and it's blackened or something, and it's a little bit harder to get that off. But I'll show you that. But I just flick the top of the flange, go all the way around, start peeling. After it's been on for a couple of days, a day and a half, it comes away easier than if it was just gone on. So I mean, just to show you underneath that it is just a normal. You can see a red bit of red skin there actually. Okay, not too worried about that. So I'm just loosening it up all the way around. Just continuing to do that. Now basically I've loosened it now to the point where I can now see the previous wrap. So I can actually now see it down there where you can see my finger. I pretty much quick check to make sure I've got everything else I need for the next round. I've got I use these little pipettes of water. They're absolutely perfect size of sterile water. They're great for cleaning, and yeah, they're just perfect. So I've got everything I need. Got my wipes and everything like that. So I'm now ready to peel off. So again, just easing it off from the top, and get a cloth ready. Tends to be just a couple, just to get it on top of it, just in case it does try and squirt. Put that on, I'll show you that in a moment. You can see I was definitely ready for a plate change. You can see that the paste is starting to wear on one edge, very much around this here. The flange is actually, all the paste has come away, so that was definitely due for, it's ready for a change. So I'm just going to put that to one side now. There, yeah. Stoma's been quiet at the moment, you get that out of the way. So we just a little bit clean it up. Just get off as much of the paste, the muck that's obviously around it to start with. I tend never to leave it on its own without any tissue around it. You only need one spurt and then you're into change of clothes. So, but I'll quickly show you. Okay, that's my ileostomy. I have some skin burn. That's what's actually defining this change. I started to get some skin burn here. The side it hurts. Because I'm on so much codeine, I don't always clean it that quickly. The skin's looking a little bit tatty under there at the moment. But this paste is, when you put the paste on it, very good at healing it. And that's, you know, it's as much as it's troublesome, it's manageable, I think. Now I'm just going to take this off. A little clean. All I'm doing now is just cleaning the existing paste off. Water is a must when taking this paste off, as it's almost like, it's not quite water soluble, because obviously that wouldn't help with a watery ileostomy, but with a little bit of water in these wipes, it does come off reasonably easily. So, that quite quick now. Okay. The one bit I need to clean up, put a fresh tissue around the stoma again, just so that it does decide to, after I've pushed it around a little bit, I tend to change them so that, you know, as I say, I only need one spurt. It looks like you're having a tea cozy around it, but it does work for me. I think everyone's different. Because of you see the little bit of blackening there, that's just the adhesive layer coming away, and it's like the, you know, markings from the clothes and things, so that's where I'm going to use some of the Brava adhesive remover. It tends to clean up quite easily. There we go. Okay. Do not use, everyone's already probably learned this, but I'm going to mention it. Do not use wet wipes that have product on, that creams and stuff like that. Otherwise, it does compromise your adhesion. Just use water, or this adhesive spray is the only stuff you really should be using. Otherwise, you will compromise your adhesive ability. That's pretty much ready to. Just draw that off down there a little bit. It does bleed, so obviously looks like I'm being a bit rough, but I'm just, you know, I just wipe it down quite quick. So, the next part is to get a barrier on, which is the skin barrier, which does help the skin quality, and that's why my skin does recover reasonably well. Is I use these 3M Cavalon. Swear by this stuff, it's absolutely superb, and it also creates your first round of adhesion, so that the face plate sticks even better. This is a brilliant product. My Stomahesive, we started using this from day one. It's quite a bit of fluid. Just wipe it down, just to create an adhesive layer. These wipes are far better than the sticks and the spray. The spray is okay. These wipes work. It just seems to put a better, thicker layer on. And we'll go right up to the edge, seeing where it's done there. Okay. One thing I would recommend is store them sitting up like that, upright, because then all the adhesive liquid in the sponge goes to the bottom, and so when you pull it out, it's all loaded on the tip of the sponge. You have them flat, the fluid is suspended in the whole sponge, and it's harder to get it all out onto your skin. So that's now nice and tacky. So now moving to the next phase. I can't believe this. My ileostomy has been absolutely brilliant. It's nice and quiet. So my paste, I use ConvaTec Stoma adhesive paste in these tubes. I normally get about three changes out of one. When you store the paste, make sure there's no air left in the top. Otherwise, it will harden up, and then all of a sudden you've got a blocked tube. So now my ileostomy is ready. Well, my plate is now ready. So this time, I'm going to pull the shield off. First of all, I will put a complete circle of paste. Again, this is something you get used to doing. That's about it. So again, push the paste up to the top, then put the lid back on. That means you'll be able to use it again next time. Now, what I do is I lick my finger, shape it, move it around, so it's into the right positions. Keep your finger wet with saliva. It's very manageable. That's now fine. So I've got a nice ring of paste on. And what I now do is, I'm going to turn this up so I can see it going on squarely myself, and then I'll show you. Okay, so I'll now pop the ring on. Okay, so we've got this sandwich affair going on. Quick check of the ileostomy, not pumping. Dry down the bottom as much as it can be. And so now, I just quickly put it on. I'll let you take one last look at the ileostomy, hoping it's not going to pump. No, that's, as you can see it moving every now and again. Just, there you go, it's just how it moves. Take that plate off, put it on, give it a little wiggle down, and one press straight down. Push the paste in a little bit, you can see the paste rise up into the edge there. So now the next bit is just to make sure the flange is completely flat on the skin. You can now see, yeah, very good mouth there. And the final bit is I use the elastic tape. And focus. There we go, Brava elastic tape. I use two of these. These are the extra larges. Obviously, I've got quite a large ileostomy. So I think they give there's several names for these, the fillets or whatever. There's a whole bunch of names. Made out of the same material that the plate is, and these are just an extra reinforcement. I've developed my own little way of putting these on. I peeled two edges back, hold it, slide it into position. Once I've got the position correct, use that little centerpiece, write it down, and then go in and try and just literally pull the paper out and drag it round. And it tends to guide itself if you're getting the hang of this. I'll show you here. So, let's the plates. Yeah. Yeah. So, literally. There we go. It's one side done. Let's go through the other side. So again, I just flip these edges over. It makes the job, for me, getting this into the right position is so fiddly sometimes. So I found this way really does help get good position. Make sure there's no wrinkles, there's no big edges there. So get it in the right position. There we go. paper out, you know, on the top plate. It's quite easy to catch it on the top plate. You can put the rubbish in. And the last one. There we go. So, pretty much, that's a bag change for me. Reasonably quick. The ileostomy was ever so quiet, and you can see it's all very conveniently stayed very quiet, and then she just pumped a little bit, so now it's already started. That's fine, that's fine. I am now very happy with that cementing. The cement will build up here. That's the area that the paste can come through sometimes, that's fine. I don't know what more to say. If I'm going out for a long time, for the whole day, and I'm worried if I'm about a breach, if I'm moving, now I've changed this, I will not go out today. I let this cement in overnight. It's the safest way. If I went out this evening, putting my hernia belt on, with the movement of walking, sitting, this will compromise. So I tend to, once I've done a change, I tend not to go out for the day. I tend to do these changes in the evening before I go to bed. I'm doing this in the afternoon so there's enough light. What I have done in the past as a side trick, which is not, I don't know if this is normal for people, but I actually I do a little cheat, I use Hyperfix. And what I'll do is I'll cut a little strip off, about 2 inches, 1.5 inches, and I will put a piece right down there. And what it actually does is, if you ever get a breach, where you get the link coming out and it gets past this outer flange, the Hyperfix seems to be harder for it to lift, and it gives me more time to recover, getting somewhere where I can do something about it and do a change. Because changing out in the public for me, in toilets and everything, I have tried it. Because of the complexity of this, it's a nightmare. I try not to do it outside of it because it doesn't go very well. But yeah, that's my ileostomy change. I hope you found it useful. This is not an example of a normal one. I think this is a little bit more of a nuisance, kind of more active ileostomy, so don't take this as a de facto standard. But that's the way I change my bag every every 3 days if we can get out of it, but quite often a day, 2 days, it varies depending on movement and so on. Anyway,